So I've also read some of your more recent poetry, and looking back at what you've written and shared in your book, and also what I've read more recently,
Yeah.
I feel like something is changing, and you're being a little bit more open and more direct about yourself in the poems. You
Yeah.
still use comedy and wordplay. I would say you're kind of hiding a little bit behind those, but it's, it works. Like, they make for funny and interesting poetry. But do you agree that you don't feel maybe very comfortable with addressing?
Yeah, no, I don't feel comfortable with addressing things head on.
Yeah.
And if I do, then I'll throw other bits in around it to sort of throw you off the scent, I suppose. There's a poem, I've Done Stuff Me, which is a list of things, some of them terrible, that I've done. But there are obvious untruths in there. So people at the end will think, well, what's real and what isn't. But just you said about hiding behind comedy. I kind of take issue with that a little bit.
Okay.
As I say, I think, as I said before, you can reveal a lot of truths. Maybe that the truths are kind of between the lines.
So you make the readers work a little bit harder to try and get to know you.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
right.
listeners.
And I think it's true. The earlier point you made about I am being a bit more upfront and a bit more honest. I think I think that just comes with more confidence. And I've seen there's so many performers down here in the southwest who are amazing at being brutally honest about themselves. And I'm just full of admiration for those people. I can't be like that, or I refuse to be like that. But yeah, I guess that is changing a bit. I don't think it's going to change a lot.
Maybe it's just part of your style.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I like what you said about I make the reader work a little bit. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
So on the theme of that, I find, this is a personal view, that what I sense in some of your poetry is like some anger, some aggression, and some sadness.
Yeah.
So do you feel that you actually use writing as a way of dealing with your emotions?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. The anger thing is something that surprised me when I 2 years ago when I got into the spoken word scene. I did sit down and start writing a lot more, and there was a period in the autumn of 2017 when every poem I wrote seemed to be angry, seemed to be really full of anger.
It was about politics too at the time.
A lot of politics and social comments. Some of them were very abstract. Even that was kind of angry. It was like, this is going to be hard to understand, but so what? And I was writing down words which just sounded good together, and and I don't really know where that came from, but obviously it's in there, and even recent poems, people see humour and anger in there. I don't necessarily feel anger. Sometimes it just kind of manifests in a poem. So I guess I'm a typical repressed Englishman. If they made a film about me, Hugh Grant would play me. I think he'd be ideal. Yeah.
All right. So the other thing I noticed is there's a lot of catastrophizing and unfortunate accidents.
Catastrophizing, is that a word?
Well, I've just made it up if it isn't.
Okay.
So I just wonder, is this the way some of the ways that you see life, like full of catastrophe and unfortunate accidents?
You're talking about me bus driving again, obviously.
Not really, actually. I hadn't come to mind, but I can see it.
I guess when I don't suppose bad things happen any more to me than they do to other people. But yeah, I can be a bit of a drama queen, I think, when it comes to stuff going wrong. And I will, I'll kind of jump on those things that go wrong, and they're going to go in a poem,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. You know.
Is it because also they
But there's
they could be made humor with?
Yeah, I was going to say there's a comedy element to that as well. I love when I read something, and it might be something in a poem that's true, that people think, well, he's made that up. But sometimes there are little nuggets that get in there that are true, and I hear people laughing. And I kind of like that because, you know, maybe it was a disaster at the time, but, you know, it's not really a disaster. And if you can turn it into something that's funny, great, you know.
Thank you. Yeah. So now I'd like to invite you to read and perform one of your poems. Would you do that for us?
I will certainly do that for you. Okay, I'm going to read... I knew you were going to ask me this, so I'm going to read a poem called Traces, which relates really to my artistic endeavours, because I'm a painter too, and there's a sad thing, there's a bittersweet thing with painting where you fall in love with a painting that you spent a lot of time on, and then you sell it, so that's fantastic, but it's also very sad. Because you no longer have that painting. And I wrote this poem called Traces about that. Okay, here we go. I'd never considered the sense of loss. My thoughts focused on being commercial, selling as many pictures as I could. It never entered my head that I viewed each completed work as a child, imbued with my own DNA. Yes, you want them to spread their wings, fly the nest, but departure is painful. To win, I have to learn how to lose. So, to compensate, I search for traces. For instance, those flecks of cerulean blue on the arm of my glasses that once coloured my Galician landscape, and that little blob of lemon yellow still lingering on my laptop mouse from when I painted the portrait of the flamenco dancer. To lose, I have to learn how to die. In a jiffy bag, jealously guarded, outline sketches of a wonderful abstract I poured my soul into. The buyer could see what I could see, and that gave me comfort. But I only have finite resources. Each time it happens, a little piece of me is taken. To die, I have to learn how to live. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to just add a little bit of commentary after that, because I hope that the people seeing this video can notice the difference that it is to be you being interviewed and feeling a little bit nervous and feeling it feels almost like you feel a little bit insecure.
Yeah.
And then when you step into this performance, it just becomes so powerful. Your voice changes. There's like dynamic, and it's almost like a second character. Like, so I hope that this also gives a little bit of taster of what your live performance could be.
Yeah.
And I would love you to tell us a bit more about where actually people can find out when you're performing, and also tell us where people can buy a copy of your book.
Right, well, thank you for that. I'm on Facebook. I'm a bit of a Facebook addict, sadly. So when any events and gigs that I'm doing in and around the Southwest, you can usually find reference on my Facebook page.
Is it also your personal page, or
my I have a personal page. I also have an art page, the art of Derek Dohren. There's also a page for the book, Everything Rhymes with Orange. I'm gigging around the Southwest, so Gloucester, Stroud, Cheltenham, Swindon, all around that part of the world. You can buy a copy of the book when you catch me at these gigs. I'll have a small stash of them with me. You can also buy them on Amazon. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you very much, Pelágia. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. I hope everyone has enjoyed this snippet into Derek Dohren's world. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.